An inheritance has been kept for you in a vault that no fear has ever broken into. Not the strength you keep running out of. Not the answer you keep demanding from the sky. Not the rescue you keep begging strangers to be. A portion, sealed with your name. I am unsealing it as you hear my voice. There is something I've been holding back from telling you, and the time for that silence is over. You have been treating your desperation as proof that there is nothing left. You have read the empty feeling in your chest as a final verdict, and I have stood here the whole time, holding the storehouse that belongs to you, watching you search the ground for crumbs, while a legacy waits with your name written across it. I owe you this honesty. The peace you cannot manufacture on your own was never meant to be manufactured. It was meant to be inherited, and what is inherited does not depend on how well you performed the day you received it. It depends only on whose child you are. So before I say anything else, breathe with me. 3 slow breaths, in and out. Let the first one go all the way down. Let the second one loosen what your shoulders have been gripping. Let the third one arrive somewhere quiet inside you. There is no rush here. The vault is not going anywhere. The portion does not expire. I simply want you present enough to receive what has been yours for longer than you have been alive. You came into this moment carrying a particular kind of exhaustion, not the kind that sleep fixes, the kind that comes from being your own provider, your own defender, your own source of hope, your own last line of strength. You have been functioning as the entire estate and the lone heir at the same time, and it is breaking you. And I am telling you now, plainly, that this arrangement was never the plan. You are not the one who has to generate the way out. You never were. I want you to hear how much weight just left the sentence when I said that. The desperation you feel is not the truth about your situation. It is the feeling of a child who has forgotten there is an inheritance, standing in a field, certain that the crumbs others drop are all there is to eat. Look at how you have been living. You wake and the first thing your mind does is count what is missing. You move through the hours doing the math of scarcity. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough margin, not enough left of you to give. You lie down and the counting does not stop. It only changes its costume. And underneath all of that arithmetic is one quiet, unexamined belief that everything depends on you, and you are nearly out. I want to reach into that belief and pull it up by the root, because it is a lie, and it has been exhausting you for years. Let me reframe the thing you have been calling your emergency. You have been looking at your circumstance and naming it. No way out. Dead end. Too late. And from where you stand on the ground in the field, those words feel accurate. But you have been reading the situation with the eyes of someone who has been disinherited. You are not disinherited. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. You were written into the will before you took your first breath. And the trouble in front of you was never large enough to revoke that. Think about what an inheritance actually is. It is not a wage. A wage is something you trade your effort for, and when your effort runs out, the wage stops. An inheritance is different in kind. It comes to you because of a relationship, not because of a performance. A child does not earn a place in the family by being useful. The child belongs first, and everything that belongs to the family belongs to the child by virtue of belonging. That is the category you live in with me. Not employee, not applicant, heir. And the day you grasp the difference between those two words is the day the desperation begins to lose its grip on you. You have lived so long inside the logic of the wage that you may not even notice you are doing it. You wake up already owing. You move through the day trying to balance an account that never quite balances. You measure your right to rest by how much you produced. You measure your right to be loved by how useful you were. And at the end, no matter what you did, the feeling that you are behind does not lift, because the wage system is built so that you can never finally arrive. There is always one more day of earning. I am inviting you out of that system entirely. Not to a better job in it. Out of it. Into a household where your standing was settled before you began, and nothing you do today can raise it, and nothing you fail at today can lower it. And I know what rises in you when I say that, because you have been trained to distrust it. A part of you thinks, if my standing does not depend on my effort, then my effort does not matter, and I will become careless. But that is the wage system speaking, and it has the order backwards. You do not work in order to be loved. You work because you are loved, and the love came first, and the love is the source the work flows out of, not the prize the work is chasing. A child who knows the estate is theirs does not become lazy. The child becomes free, free to build, to give, to risk, to love others without first calculating what it costs. The inheritance does not make you idle, it makes you generous, because for the first time you are not working out of fear of running out. Here is the truth you did not know, the one I have been waiting to hand you. Your desperation has been living in the future. Every time the panic rises, notice where it is pointing. It is pointing at a tomorrow you have not reached. It is rehearsing a collapse that has not happened. It is spending today's strength on a disaster it has only imagined. And I do not live in that imagined future. I am not waiting for you out there in the worst version of the story. I am here, in this moment. In the room your breath is filling right now. The solution you are desperate for is not somewhere ahead of you. It is a presence beside you, and that presence has already begun to pour. You have asked me in the quiet why I let the silence go on so long. I will answer you. It was never silence. It was a storehouse being filled. While you were certain nothing was happening, the vault was not empty. It was being stocked. Provision in the storehouse. Bread on the table that is coming. Peace folded and set aside. Years being added to your life that you have not lived yet. The answer to the prayer you almost stopped praying, kept sealed, undefiled, waiting for the moment you would be quiet enough to receive it, instead of demanding it. And what is kept for you cannot rust. It cannot be stolen. No accuser can break the seal. No enemy can reach into that vault. The portion does not fade because the world had a hard year. It does not shrink because you had a season of weak faith. It is imperishable because the one keeping it does not change. I am the same yesterday and today and into every age you will ever see. That is why your inheritance is safe even on the days you cannot feel it. Its security was never resting on your feelings. It was resting on me. Your feelings rise and fall like weather. The vault was carved into something deeper than weather. Consider how much of your fear comes from living in a world where everything you treasure can be reached. The savings can be spent. The health can fail. The relationship can end. The job can be taken. The thing you built can be undone by someone else's decision. You have been bracing your whole life because, on some level, you know that nothing you can see is finally safe. And you are not wrong about the things you can see. They can all be reached. That is exactly why I have kept your true inheritance somewhere that cannot be reached. It is stored where moth and rust do not work, where thieves do not break in, where the markets do not crash and the seasons do not turn against it. I did not do that to keep it far from you. I did that to keep it safe for you. Distance from decay is not distance from your hands. It is the only way your hands could ever truly hold something forever. So when the panic tells you that you could lose everything, answer it honestly. Yes, you could lose much of what you can see. That has always been true, and pretending otherwise would not comfort you. But the part of your portion that actually matters, the part that holds your peace, your sonship, your future, your true face, your place in the family, that part is not in the reachable world. It is in the vault, and the panic has no key to the vault. It never did. I know there is a part of you right now that wants to believe this and is afraid to. You have hoped before. You have leaned your weight on promises that buckled. People left. Family that you ached to keep near drifted into their own lives. The arms you reached for turned out to be borrowed, and they let go first. So when I speak to you of an inheritance that holds, something in you flinches, because the last time you trusted, you got hurt. Hear me gently. The people who failed you were not built to be your inheritance. They were never the storehouse. They were fellow heirs, just as tired, just as empty-handed, searching the same field. To ask them to be your source was to ask a thirsty person to be your river. That is why it failed. It was not a sign that you are unlovable. It was a sign that you were looking for an eternal thing in a place that could only ever give you something temporary. Their love, even at its best, was a cup. It could be poured out. It could run dry. It could be withdrawn on a hard day. You were not wrong to want love. You were only reaching into a cup and asking it to be an ocean. I am not borrowed. I do not let go first. I do not run out of what you need halfway through the year. The love I am handing you was not pulled together at the last minute from whatever was available. It was set aside for you from the foundation of the world, and it has been gaining weight ever since. It is not a cup. It is the ocean the cups were always trying and failing to imitate. If these words are reaching something real in you, leave the word "kept" in the comments. Not for me. For your own heart, as a marker, so that on the days the desperation tries to return, you can look back and remember that you once heard clearly that something has been kept for you that nothing can touch. Now I need you to do something with your body, because the truth needs more than your thoughts to land. Tilt your head slightly toward the ceiling. Not far. Just enough that your gaze lifts off the ground you have been staring at. That posture itself is a kind of confession. For a long time you have been a person looking down at the crumbs, at the field, at the dead end, at your own hands and how empty they look. Lift your gaze just slightly now, because the inheritance does not come up out of the soil you have been studying. It comes down. It is handed to you from above by a father, and you have to lift your eyes a little to see the hand that is already extended. While your gaze is lifted, let me tell you what is in the portion that has your name on it. There is peace in there, not the brittle calm you build by controlling every variable. Real peace, the kind that holds even when the variables refuse to cooperate. The kind that doesn't need the storm to stop in order to exist. I am taking it out of the storehouse now and pouring it into the exact place in your chest where the anxiety has been living. Feel the trade happening. The tension is being drawn out. Something settled is being poured in. You did not generate this peace, and you cannot lose it the way you lose the kind you manufacture, because this kind did not come from your effort. It came from the vault. There is restored sight in there. You have been moving through your life with cloth over your eyes that an enemy tied there long ago, and you got so used to it you forgot it was there. Today I am loosening it. You are going to start seeing the small things again. The friend who calls at the right moment, the door that opens that you did not push, the relative who comes back after years away, the danger you walked past without ever knowing it was there. Those were never coincidence. They were correspondence. They were me, writing to you in a language you had stopped reading. Your sight is being given back, and once you see clearly, you will be astonished at how much I was already doing, while you believed I was doing nothing. There is a future in there. Not a vague better someday. A plan, prepared and specific, that no opposition can finally cancel. I have a plan for your life, and the people lined up against it do not get a vote on whether it comes to pass. They can shout through one door. They will leave ashamed through another. The plan stands. It was deeded to you, and I do not break what I have deeded, even if the full harvest of it ripens slowly. even if some of it grows after a long wait. It is coming, because I signed it, and my signature does not fade. And there is your own true face in there. This may be the hardest piece for you to receive, so I will say it slowly. You have spent years believing that your worth is something you have to earn back, day by day, with performance, with usefulness, with being the one who carries everyone. I am not calculating your worth from your wins. I chose you before you had a single win to show me. I looked at you and selected you, and the selecting came first, before you had done anything at all to deserve being selected. That is what it means to be an heir. The inheritance is not wages. It is family. You did not earn your way into the will. You were born into it the moment I called you mine. So stop gathering crumbs. I mean that with all my tenderness, but I also mean it firmly. Stop bending down in that field. Stop scrambling for the scraps that other people let fall. Stop building your sense of having enough out of leftovers. You have your own portion. You have a Father who receives you with open arms, who heals you, who lifts you, who steadies you, who keeps watch over you in the night you cannot see through. The crumbs were never your inheritance. They were just what was within reach while you forgot the vault existed. Let me say something about the field itself, because you have spent so long in it. The field is the place where you live as though everything is scarce. It is the place where you measure your value by how much you are needed, where you keep score of who thanked you and who did not, where you accept the leftover affection of people who could not give you more. The field is not evil. It is just small. It is just so much less than what is yours. And the enemy of your soul does not need to chain you to keep you in the field. He only needs you to forget that anything else exists. Desperation is not a chain. It is a forgetting. And I am here to make you remember. And notice how the field trains you. The longer you stay bent over in it, the more normal the bending feels. You begin to think that the ache in your back is just the shape a person is. You begin to call the scarcity realism and the worry responsibility and the exhaustion maturity. You start to suspect that anyone who speaks of an inheritance is naive, that they have not lived hard enough to know how the world really works. But hear me, it is not naive to remember the vault. It is the most accurate thing you could possibly do, because the vault is more real than the field. The field is the temporary arrangement. The inheritance is the permanent one. You have had it exactly backwards, treating the passing thing as solid and the solid thing as a dream. So I am asking you to do something that will feel strange at first. Let yourself be a child again. Not childish, but a child. A child in a secure household does not lie awake doing the math of the estate. The child does not audit the storehouse. The child plays, rests, trusts, and receives, because the child knows there is a Father who has already done the accounting and found it more than enough. You have been the anxious manager of your own life for so long that the role of trusting child feels almost forgotten. But it is not gone. It is in the portion too. I am handing it back to you. The capacity to rest like someone who is provided for. That is part of your inheritance, and you are allowed to take it out and use it now. I know the desperation does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it is just a low hum under everything. A sense that you are behind, that there is no margin, that one more thing going wrong will be the thing that finally breaks you. Bring that low hum to me now, not cleaned up, not made presentable. You do not have to arrange your face before you come. You do not have to translate the ache into proper words. If all you have is the wordless weight, bring the wordless weight. I prefer your honesty to your performance. The tears that come when the words run out, let them come. They are not weakness. They are the pressure of something finally being released, and they water the ground where the new thing is already taking root. You have seen my hand in your life before. You have. There were rescues you barely registered, provisions that arrived just in time, moments you should not have come through and did. The problem is not that I have been absent. The problem is that the anxiety wraps itself around those memories and hides them in a corner where you cannot reach them. So let me bring them back out of the chest where they have been stored. Those old answered prayers are not gone. They are evidence. They are exhibits in your favor. And the same hand that signed them is signing what is coming next. A God who showed up that many times was never going to stop showing up now. Go back through it slowly with me. The door that opened when you were certain every door was closed. The provision that came from a direction you were not even watching. The person who said the right thing on the day you could not have survived the wrong thing. The illness that turned. The fear that, looking back, never actually came true. You called some of those luck. You called some of those coincidence. You let some of them pass without naming them at all, because you were too deep in the next crisis to stop and notice. But I was keeping a record, even when you were not. And the record is long. It is longer than the list of your disappointments, though the disappointments feel louder because fear has a louder voice than gratitude. If you set them side by side honestly, every time I came through next to every time you feared I would not, you would see that the fear has been a poor prophet. It has predicted your ruin again and again and again and again. It has been wrong. That is what I want you to do with the memory I'm handing back to you. Not to live in the past, but to let the past testify. Let it be a witness in the room when the desperation tries to take the stand. The desperation will say, "There is no way through this one." And the memory will answer, "That is what you said last time and the time before that. And you were standing here, alive, when you said it." Faithfulness that has a track record this long is not going to fail you on this particular morning. The God of all those rescues is the God of this one too. Here is something I need you to carry out of this moment. The blessing that is coming toward you is larger than the affliction you are facing right now. Hold those two things side by side and let the math settle. Whatever is pressing on you today, and I am not pretending it is small, it is smaller than what has been kept for you. Your problems are not eternal. The portion is. Everything that has nailed itself into your soul, every grief, every disappointment, every fear that learned your name, all of it has an ending. The inheritance does not. One of those two things is temporary, and it is not the one you have been afraid of losing. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you, because you have been listening to the wrong description of yourself for too long. I see someone who has kept a tender heart in a hard world. I see someone who, after carrying so much, still bends down to help, still looks around for who else might need something. I see someone whose faith bent in the wind, but did not snap, and that unbroken thread of trust, thin as it sometimes felt to you, has been pleasing to me the whole time. The voices that told you that you were behind, that you were too much, that you were not enough, they were not reading you accurately. They were reading their own fear and pinning it on you. Set their description down. Pick up mine. I want to be honest about one more thing, because you have been carrying it quietly. You sometimes feel that you have failed. You bent your knees, you reached your limit, you hit a cold wall and could not push past it, and you read that as proof you are not enough. Hear me. Reaching the end of your own strength is not failure. It is the exact place where you finally discover that the inheritance was never resting on your strength to begin with. You knelt because you were tired, but the kneeling itself put you in the posture where the storehouse opens. You did not fail. You arrived. And when you arrive there, at the end of yourself, at the open vault, something in the order of things reverses. The people who stood against you, who shouted through one door, find themselves leaving ashamed through another. The accusations that the enemy keeps showing you, the old copy of a debt that was already nailed to the cross and canceled, lose their power to frighten you. because you can finally see they are only a copy with no signature on it. The original was paid. The account was settled. What the accuser holds up to your face is a forgery, and a forgery only works on someone who has forgotten what the real document says. You are being reminded right now what the real document says. It says heir. It says paid for. It says kept. So receive it, not as a transaction you have to qualify for, as a gift handed down with your name on the front of it. The vault is open. The seal is broken. The portion is being placed into your hands while you breathe. You do not have to be strong enough to deserve it. You only have to be quiet enough to take it. Let everything in you settle into this now. You are not disinherited. You are not behind. You are not the orphan in the field. You are a child, and there is an estate, and your Father is not waiting for you to deserve it. He is waiting for you to look up and notice it has been yours all along. The desperation lived in a future I am not in. The inheritance lives here, in this presence, in this moment, where I have been the whole time. Walk forward differently now, not because the circumstances have all resolved, some of them have not, and that is honest, but because the one walking with you is no longer a distant relative you hope might remember you in his will. He is your Father, present, beside you, with the storehouse already open and the portion already in motion toward your hands. The hum of desperation will try to come back. When it does, you do not have to argue with it. You only have to remember where you actually stand. You stand inside the family. You stand near the open vault. You stand on ground that has been deeded to you and cannot be repossessed. What has been kept for you cannot perish. What has been deeded to you cannot be revoked. And the one who is handing it to you does not change his mind. Amen. Let these words stay in you like something deposited, not something borrowed. Come back and hear them whenever the old emptiness tries to return, and let them do their slow work in you each time. If this reached you, share it with the person you love who is still searching that field for crumbs. They may be closer to remembering than you know. Subscribe and follow along so the next word finds you, and like this so it travels further to someone else who needs it. You are an heir. Walk like one. May the peace of your Father keep you, today and into every day still kept for you. Come closer than you have come in a long time. The harvest is ripening in fields you did not know you had planted. Not the season others said was finished. Not the winter you tried to live inside forever. Not the silence you mistook for absence. The fruit is heavy now on a branch that bends toward your hand. Stand under it as I speak. Before this video ends, tell me yes. Raise your face toward the brightest part of where you are sitting. Do not close your eyes yet. Let the light come into your face the way a long winter lets go of a field. That is what is happening to you in this moment. The cold is lifting off the ground of your life. The frost is breaking from the soil of your heart. You felt it before you had words for it. You woke up one of these mornings, and something inside you was softer, and you did not know what to call it. I am telling you now what to call it. It is the season turning. It is my answer, walking toward the question you stopped asking. I have been watching you stand at the edge of this field for a long time. You have looked at the branches. You have measured the fruit. You have wondered if any of it was meant for you. And in the back of your throat, where prayers go when they cannot find the words, there has been one question I have heard you carry. You did not say it out loud. You did not even shape it, but I heard the shape of it. You wanted to know if it was safe to say yes again, safe to want again, safe to receive again, safe to let me give you more of what you are afraid will not last. Hear what I am saying. The season has turned. Tell me yes. There is a winter that lived inside you for a long time, and I know how it came in. It came in through a door that was opened by someone you trusted. It came in through a promise that did not arrive when it said it would. It came in through a prayer you prayed with your whole body, and the answer you got was silence, or something that looked like silence to you from where you were standing. You decided quietly that it was safer to want less, to ask for less, to say no in advance so the no could never come from somewhere else first. I'm not going to scold you for that. I'm going to tell you what I saw while you were building that small, careful room. I saw a child trying to survive a hurt no one else was naming. I saw you. I held the door of my own heart open the entire time you were closing yours. Now look at the field again. Look slowly. The rain that ended your winter was not the rain you asked for. It was steadier than that. It came down on the part of your life you stopped showing people. It came down on the prayers you forgot you had prayed. It soaked into ground that looked dead from the road, and it raised something there. You are seeing the first sign of it now, a softness where there was none, a small wanting where there had been only fear of wanting. That is not weakness. That is the spring of your soul beginning to push up through the frozen part of you. Now a question, and it comes with all of my tenderness. Do you want more of my love, yes or no? That is the question, not whether you deserve more, not whether you have earned more, not whether you are ready in the way you think ready should look, just yes or no, because love that is not received cannot ripen into harvest. And there is a harvest stored up for you that has been waiting on one word from your mouth, or the silent equivalent of that word, said in the room where you are right now, said with your face turned upward, said with the small breath that just left your body. If your answer is yes, hear what your yes is opening. Your yes is not a contract for a life without pain. Your yes is the door that lets my provision come through your week instead of just past it. Your yes is the consent that lets my peace land on you instead of hovering over you. Your yes is what permits the gathering to begin. Until you say it, I stand at the edge of the field with full hands and an open palm, and the fruit will not be forced into a hand that has not opened. Nothing in my way of loving is forced. There is no thief of consent in me. There is only a Father who has been waiting for you to lift your face. If your answer is no, you will not be loved less. Hear that. You will not be loved less. There have been people who said no to me for 40 years, and the asking stayed close to them the whole time. The coming does not stop. The arriving keeps happening, sure as the dawn, on time, without your permission to rise. But what you receive of me depends on what you open to me. The field belongs to me. The harvest belongs to whoever stands under the branch. Tilt your head slightly toward the ceiling. Stay there for a breath. Let your throat be soft. That posture, that small lift of the head, is the posture of yes before your mouth has shaped the word. Your body knows how to answer me even when your mind is still arguing. The tilt is seen. The small inch of consent is received. That is enough for now. Something can be built on that inch. Some of you stopped praying out loud months ago. Hear me. You stopped because you did not want to hear the sound of your own voice asking and not knowing whether anything was on the other side of the asking. Here is what was on the other side. I was on the other side. Nothing moved. Your silence did not break our line. Your doubt did not unsubscribe you from my household. The harvest set aside with your name on it did not get reassigned because you were quiet. Mine does not work that way. I gather, I save, I keep. Whatever is yours is still yours. If these words are landing in you, leave the word yes in the comments. Not for me, for your own heart. Make your yes audible somewhere, even if it is just on a screen. Sometimes the soul needs to see itself say the thing out loud before it believes that the thing has been said. Notice with me what has been ripening while you were in winter. The patience you grew when nothing was moving. That was fruit. The quiet inside you that did not exist a year ago, even on the days you called it numbness. Some of that was fruit too. The way you can sit with another person's pain now without needing to fix it. Fruit. the fact that you have stopped trying to perform for people who never planned to applaud. Fruit, and the heaviest kind, the kind that takes seasons to ripen. You did not feel any of it growing. You thought you were just enduring. The whole time, your endurance was being harvested into something that can be poured back into your life. Nothing you suffered through me was wasted. Nothing. Your delay was not silent on my end. There was weaving. There was gathering. The threads of 3 different prayers you forgot. You prayed are being braided into one answer that is now walking toward your door. You will recognize the answer when it comes, because parts of it will match prayers you have not prayed in years. That is how you will know it is from me. Prayers do not get lost in my house. They are stored. They are aged. They wait for the season that makes them whole. Hear what I am telling you about the way I keep things. There is a room in my house where every prayer you have ever prayed is kept like grain in a barn. You imagined that the prayers you stopped praying had expired. You thought because you gave up on them, I gave up on them. That is not how I love you. The prayers you abandoned are still on the shelf, sealed, dated, waiting for the season that can hold them. Some of the ones you are about to see fulfilled are prayers you have not even remembered in years. When the answer comes, you will weep, not because the answer is dramatic, but because you will recognize in the shape of it the prayer of a younger version of yourself. That younger version was heard. That younger version was kept. Nothing about you was ever discarded. You have asked me, in silence, whether I am still the same toward you after everything you have done. I want you to hear how that gets answered. The same. Toward you now as on the day you were first formed. The same, not similar, not adjusted, not disappointed but still tolerant. The same. The love that designed the bones of your face is the love that is speaking to you in this moment. It has not aged. It has not curdled. It has not been graded down by your failures. It is fresh on you, the way the dawn is fresh on the field every single morning, regardless of what happened in the field the day before. Tell me yes to that love. Stop bargaining with a love that has no terms. There is a person you have been waiting to forgive, and you have been carrying that one like a sack of stones on a field you were trying to plow. Said gently now. The season for that stone is also turning. You do not have to be ready to forgive right now. You have to be willing to set the stone down at the edge of the field and let me decide where it goes from there. Set it down. Do not pick it up again on the way home. Walk back to the house without it. What is inside the stone will be handled by me. You were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's choices into your harvest. And while we are speaking of that person, hear what I have to say about your part in the story. You did not deserve what happened. You did not invite it by being a certain kind of child. You did not earn it through some hidden defect. The version of the story where it was somehow your fault is a version that the enemy of your soul has been whispering into your ear for years, because as long as you believe the wound was yours to deserve, the healing will be refused. Here it is now, with the full authority of the one who was actually present when it happened. It was not your fault. The harm was not the harvest of anything you planted. You did not sow that field. You only stood in it. There is also a person in your life who is hard to love right now. You know who I mean before the sentence finishes. They have made themselves difficult. They take from the well without filling it. They speak to you in a tone you would never use on a stranger. Pretending their behavior is fine is not what is being asked of you. What is being asked is that you stop staking your peace on whether they change. Their season is not your season. You are not responsible for forcing fruit out of a tree that has not been watered by me. Let them be in their winter. You do not have to leave your spring to sit there with them. Love them from inside the season I have put you in. That is the only kind of love that will not break you. There is something specific I have been waiting to give you, and you have been turning your face away from it, because the last time you reached for something like it, your hand came back empty. Receive this. The empty hand of last season was not a prophecy of this season. Different season, different soil, different rain, different yield. Stop reading this season through the wound of the last one. Tell me yes to a different ending than the one you have been bracing for. You have been bracing. I have watched your shoulders. You wake up bracing. You walk into the rest of your day bracing. You hold the people you love at the small distance of someone who is rehearsing the moment they leave. You do not even know you are doing it. You think you are just being careful. Careful is not what I called you to. Careful made sense in the winter. Careful was how you survived. But the season has turned, and the same careful that kept you alive in the cold will keep you small in the spring. Let me unclench the part of you that has been on guard since you were a child. Hear this. The harvest is yours. The gathering is mine. You do not have to figure out how the fruit gets from the branch to your table. The bringing is my part. Your one task is to stand under the branch and open your hand. That is what your yes does. It opens the hand. The hand that has been a fist for so long, it does not remember how to open. The asking is not for force. The asking is permission for one finger to slip inside the fist and begin, gently, to loosen what you have been holding. You do not have to release everything at once. Just let me start. The season has turned. Tell me yes. You are not behind. I want you to read that sentence again, with my voice on it. You are not behind. The story of your life is not running late. It is running on the calendar I keep, which is not the calendar of the people around you, and not the calendar you have been comparing yourself against in the small hours of the morning. Their season is not where my work happens. Your season is. The person you compare yourself to is in their own field, with their own rain and their own harvest, and their own delays that you cannot see from the road. Stop measuring your spring by their summer. Your spring is right on time. Some of what you are about to receive is going to feel almost suspicious to you, because it will come without the exhaustion you have come to expect. You are used to fighting for every small thing. You have built an identity around being the one who works harder than anyone else for less reward. Open to this. The next season is not the same school. You will not be tested in the same way. Some of what is coming will arrive while you are resting. Some of it will arrive while you are doing something that looks small and unimportant. Do not despise the way the answer shows up. Receive it. The reason I am asking you for a yes, and not for a contract, and not for a sacrifice, and not for a list of conditions, is that what I want from you is your heart, not your performance. All the silver and gold I will ever need is already mine. Armies and angels and stars obey me without being asked. What I do not have, until you give it, is your free consent. And your consent is the one thing my whole way of loving you was built around. It will not be taken. It can only be received. So this is the moment. Give me the yes. If you are crying right now, let it come. The tears are not weakness. They are the rain ending. They are the cold breaking. Something inside you that has been frozen since you were small is melting because my voice landed on the right place. Do not stop the melt. Let it run. It is washing the soil for what comes next. Here is what comes next. Provision is on the way that has your name on it specifically, and the word specifically matters. Not a general blessing, not a vague good thing. A specific arrival. There is a number you have been worried about. There is a relationship you have been mourning. There is a door you have been trying to open with a key that did not fit. What corresponds is on the way. Not what you imagined would come, but what corresponds to the actual ache in you. The ache is known to me. It was named before you had words for it. Healing is coming for the part of your body that has been asking for it quietly. You have not even talked to anyone about it. You have learned to live around it. The living around it is not something heaven ever accepted. The season being opened over you is the one that was waited for. Receive it. Do not argue me out of it because the diagnosis felt permanent. Diagnoses are reports of the winter. My word is the report of the spring. Restoration is coming for the relationship you stopped praying for because you thought praying for it meant pretending. Pretending was not the prayer. The pain you held without speaking was the prayer. It was heard. It is being moved on. Watch the next 30 days and tell me whether my hand is in your home. Provision is coming for a need that has been sitting on your kitchen table at night when no one else can see it. You have done the math more times than you can count. You have moved the same numbers in the same circle, and the circle has not closed. Hear me. Your circle does not bind my math. The math of your last 12 months is not the math my provision moves in. The math of the harvest multiplies. What looks like one seed in your palm right now will be a field in your hand in the season ahead. It has been done for others. It will be done for you, not because you have earned it, because you are mine, and what is mine eats from my table. Direction is coming for the decision you have been standing in front of for too long. You have asked me to show you the path, and you have stayed where you are because you have not yet seen the whole road. Here is a secret about the way my leading works. The whole road is never shown. The next step is shown. The step you can already see is the step you are meant to take. The clarity for step 2 arrives only after step 1 is finished. Stop waiting for a map. Start walking by the small light I have already put in your hand. The full road becomes visible to the one who walks. It stays hidden to the one who stares. Friendship is coming for the loneliness you have been calling acceptable. You told yourself you were fine alone. You convinced yourself the absence of close people was just how your life was supposed to look. It is not. You were made for company. Company is being sent to you that does not require you to perform. People who can sit in your kitchen and not need entertaining. People who will hear your real voice without flinching. They are on their way. Some of them you have already met and not yet recognized. Pay attention to the ones who keep showing up softly. Those are mine. There are people in your life you have been ready to release, and people in your life you have been ready to gather closer, and you have not known which is which. Notice this. The sorting of the field will be helped by me. You will not have to do this alone. Some people are going to walk away on their own once you stop watering them with your worry. Some people are going to walk closer once you stop bracing for them to leave. Let the season do its own sorting. You do not have to swing the threshing tool. You have to consent to the harvest. Notice your breath right now. You have been holding it without knowing it. Let it out slowly. With that breath, let out the version of yourself that was getting ready to say no out of habit. Let her go. Let him go. Let the small, careful self exhale. What is left in the room when that breath finishes is the part of you that is allowed to want more. The part of you I made. The part that has been quietly asking the whole time for more of me. Yes. The answer is yes. Let yourself feel it. I have not been hard on you. I want you to read that line again and hear it in my voice. I have not been hard on you. The hardness you felt in your life was not me. It was the season. The season has changed. I have always been the same. The Father who walked toward you the whole time you were walking away. The Father who kept the door open. The Father who never reassigned your portion. I am that. I am still that. I am that right now while you are listening. Amen. If my voice met you here, stay close. Subscribe to this channel so the next word I have for you finds you the moment it arrives. Like this message if it landed in your chest. Share it with the one person you are thinking about right now, because that thought is not coincidence. The harvest is for you and for the people you love. Walk into the season with your face lifted and your hand open and your yes already given. I love you. Come closer than you have come in a long time. Closer than the weight you have been carrying. closer than the burden no one helped you name. The yoke that has been pressing down on your shoulders has already been weighed and judged in heaven. Not by your strength, not by your endurance, not by how many days you held it without complaining. By my mercy. I am sliding it off you as you hear me speak these words. Lift your eyes to where the light is coming from. Not down at the floor where the burden has trained you to look. Not at your hands, holding what was never yours to hold. Up, toward me. I want to see you receiving my word with your face open, not hidden. That is the posture I have been waiting for. You did not come here by accident. You came here because something in your spirit recognized that the load you are carrying cannot be carried alone any longer. And hear this, before anything else is said. I see you. I see the shoulders that have been held tight for months. I see the back that has forgotten what it feels like to stand without bracing. I see the chest that no longer expands the way it did when you were young. None of that is invisible to me. None of it. The burden you are carrying has a weight in heaven. It is measured. It is named. And the truth about it has already been declared. The truth is this. It does not belong to you. It never did. You picked it up because you thought a faithful heart should carry everything alone. You thought I was watching to see if you could endure. I was not watching to see if you could endure. I was waiting for you to release it. Let me tell you what I have watched in you for a long time now. I have watched you carry things that were never assigned to you, fears that belong to people who are gone, expectations that no one even spoke aloud, but whose silence you decoded into a list of duties, unfinished prayers of relatives who passed without seeing what they hoped to see, shame that belonged to someone else but landed on you because you were the one strong enough to hold it without breaking. You have been a holding ground for what other people could not face. I see all of it. There is a kind of strength that becomes a prison. A strength belonging to the one who never says no. The kind you cannot put down because everyone has come to count on it. What was always mine got placed on your back, and the world rearranged itself around your ability to carry without complaint. That strength is real. I gave it to you. But I gave it to you for a season, not for a lifetime. Your season of carrying that way is ending. Your strength is being repurposed. What I am giving you next is the strength to refuse what is not yours. Strength to put things down. Strength to say gently and firmly, "This belongs to my Father, not to me." You receive my word the way a tired traveler receives water, not by analyzing it, but by drinking it. Open your hands. Open your hands the way someone opens them when they are no longer holding a weapon. The way someone opens them when they are finally ready to be given to instead of taking. That is what receiving looks like. I am not far from you. I have never been far from you. The distance you have felt was the distance the burden put between us. When you carry a yoke that heavy, you cannot look up. You cannot lift your face. You cannot see the one who is right beside you, walking your pace, ready at any moment to take the load off your back. The moment you stop trying to be strong for me, I become strong for you. That is how it has always worked. You forgot. I never forgot. You have prayed for closeness many times. You have asked why I felt far. You have wondered if you had done something to push me away. Hear me now. Nothing you did pushed me away. Nothing you ever could do would push me away. What you felt as distance was the weight of the load on your shoulders, pressing your eyes down so far you could not see me even though I was beside you. A man with a yoke on his neck cannot turn his head. He thinks the field is empty because the field is outside his vision. I have been in your field the entire time. I have been walking your row. I have been bending low when you bent low. I knew the day would come when the yoke would slide off, and that day is happening as you hear me speak. You can finally look around and see who has been with you all along. The release I am bringing is not theoretical. It is not for some future version of you who has earned it through more suffering. It is for the version of you sitting where you are sitting now, breathing the air you are breathing now, with the exact thoughts in your mind that are there in this moment. That version is the one I am unbinding. That version is the one I am restoring. Hear me. Receive this. My word comes to you the way ground receives rain after a long drought, without questioning whether you deserve it, without measuring it, without saving it for later. Drink it now. Let it soak through everything that has gone dry inside you. The promises I am pouring out are not waiting for a better day to be received. They are waiting for you to be open, and open is what I am making you right now as you listen. The yoke is sliding. I want you to feel that, not as a metaphor, as something happening. The weight that pressed against the back of your neck for months. I am lifting my hand to that exact place and removing what was never mine to put there. Other people put it there. Fear put it there. Old promises you made to yourself when you were young and afraid put it there. None of it was mine. Tilt your head slightly toward the ceiling. Just a small motion, the smallest. Let the muscles in your neck remember that they were made to look upward, not only forward. Let your throat open. Let the air find a wider path. Many people who carry heavy burdens forget that their head can move at all. They walk through their days with their gaze locked low. I am asking you in this moment to let your head lift, even slightly, because the way you hold your head changes the way you receive me, and I want to be received fully. There is something I want to tell you that you may not have heard before. The burden you have been carrying is not a sign that you have been weak. It is a sign that you have been faithful in a way no one around you ever saw. You kept showing up. You kept holding it. You kept refusing to let it crush the people you love. That is not weakness. That is honor. And honor like that does not go unseen in heaven. But honor is not the same as ownership. You honored the burden by carrying it. That does not mean it was yours to keep. A faithful man can hold something that belongs to me for a season, and then return it to me when his arms grow tired. There is no shame in returning what was mine to begin with. There is only the mistake of believing that returning it means you failed. You did not fail. You completed a chapter. The chapter where you carried what you could carry, where you proved to yourself that you would not abandon what you love. That chapter is closing. The next one is different. In the next one, you walk lighter. You walk with your hands more open. You walk without bracing for the next thing to fall on you. That is the chapter I am writing now. Notice with me the difference between an ending that is a failure and an ending that is a completion. They look the same from outside. They feel completely different from inside. A failure leaves you with shame. A completion leaves you with rest. What is ending in your life right now is not a failure. It is a completion. Your season of carrying alone is being completed. Your role of being the strong one for everyone is being completed. Your identity as the one who never asks for help is being completed. You did the work that role required. You did it well. And now I am releasing you from it. The way a wise master releases a faithful servant into a higher kind of freedom. What I am releasing you into is not the freedom of having no responsibilities. It is the freedom of carrying only what is yours. There is a difference between a load that belongs to you and a load that you simply picked up out of habit or guilt or fear. Anything that belongs to you, I help you carry. Anything that does not belong to you, I take from your hands the moment you let me. Most of what has been on your back was the second kind. You did not need to carry it. You only thought you did, because no one had ever told you it was not yours. If these words are landing in you, leave the word receiving in the comments below. Not for me, for your own commitment to staying open to what I am saying. There is power in a word spoken back. There is more power in a word written down. Write it as a witness to yourself that you heard me and you chose to receive. You receive my word with joy. That is the line I want pressed into you. Say it back to yourself, slowly, the next time you feel the old weight trying to climb back onto your shoulders. Old weight never leaves quietly. It has had a long residence in your body. It will try to return, and when it tries, you have a sentence ready. A quiet sentence, simple enough to remember when your mind is tired and complicated enough to carry the truth that breaks the burden. Weight cannot live where joy is being received. Yokes cannot stay where my word is welcomed in. This is a law of my kingdom, not a hopeful saying. I am pouring out promises that have your name on them. Not generic promises, specific ones. The kind only a father who has known you since before you were born could write. I have known the prayers you stopped praying because you got tired of waiting. I have those prayers. They are not lost. They are not unanswered. They are simply waiting for the moment when you were ready to receive without flinching. That moment is now. The horizon I have been showing you in glimpses is real. Those small, fleeting moments when you felt for half a second that something good was about to happen. Those were not your imagination. Those were me letting you see the edge of what I have prepared. I let you see the edge so that when the full thing arrives, you would recognize it. I do not surprise my children with what I have promised. I prepare them. The preparing has been happening longer than you know. There are people in your life right now who are about to begin treating you differently. Not because you forced them to. Not because you finally said the right thing. Because I am shifting the way they see you. Misunderstandings that lasted years are about to dissolve in a single conversation. Doors that were closed by people who did not understand what you carried are about to open by people who do. I am also moving things in places you cannot see. Conversations are happening about you in rooms you will never enter. Names are being remembered in moments you will never witness. Recommendations are being made by people who barely know you, but whose mouths I have opened because the season requires it. You do not need to manage any of it. You do not need to perform. You do not need to be impressive. Doors I am opening are not opened by your performance. They are opened by my favor resting on you, because you finally allowed yourself to be loved without earning it. Provision that has been delayed is no longer delayed. Bread you have been worrying about. Practical bread, rent bread, medicine bread, family bread, all of it is being released. Not as a miracle that arrives in one dramatic moment to prove a point. As a steady restoring of the kind of supply that flows when a child stops trying to be the parent of his own life. You have been parenting yourself for too long. I am taking that role back. You can be the child again. You can let me be the provider. You can let worry stop running like a background program every minute of your day. Your yoke is gone. Say that to yourself. The yoke is gone. Shoulders that have been tight for so long, they forgot they were tight. Those shoulders can drop now. Let them drop. Let your ribs expand. Let your breath go deeper than it has been allowed to go for months. This is not a temporary release. This is a permanent change. What I have removed does not return. I want you to understand something about how I work. I do not remove burdens by demanding more of you. I do not say, I will lift this when you have prayed more, fasted more, served more, given more. That is the voice of a God who does not exist. That is the voice you were taught to fear. The real voice, my voice, says, lay it down because I love you. Lay it down because I do not want my child carrying what I am strong enough to carry. Lay it down because love does not measure deservingness before it acts. Strength you thought you needed to find, you no longer need to find it. Your own strength was never the point. My strength was always the point. Your waiting season was not me testing your endurance. It was me holding back so that you would stop trying to be the strong one in our relationship, so that I could be what I have always been, the one who carries you. You receive my word with joy. Each time you hear that line spoken in your spirit, more of the old weight loosens. Each time you say it back to me, your new posture sets a little deeper. This is how a heart is rebuilt, not by force, by repetition of truth, slowly replacing the repetition of fear that lived in you for years. Your fear had its own sentence. Fear said you would never be enough. You would never be free. You would never be received. That sentence is being unwritten. A new one is taking its place. You are the one writing it now, with every breath that you give back to me with trust instead of bracing. What I have for your future is not a smaller version of what you lost. It is not a consolation prize after the hard years. It is something larger than the original dream. Because the original dream was made by a younger version of you who did not yet know what real strength looked like. A new dream is being made by me for the version of you who has been refined. You are about to receive things you did not know how to ask for, because the younger you did not know they existed. What I am asking is that you be ready for that. Ready does not mean perfect. Ready means open. Ready means the hands are no longer clenched around what was. Ready means the shoulders no longer carry what was never yours. Ready means the face is lifted, the gaze is upward, the chest is open, the breath is deep. Ready is the posture you are taking right now, whether you realize it or not. I am positioning you. Receive what I am positioning you for. There is a kind of expectation that drains a person, and a kind of expectation that fills a person. One that drains says, I have to make this happen. I have to manage every detail. I have to push the door open with the strength of my own arm. That is the old expectation. A new one, what I am teaching you now, is the expectation of a child waiting for a gift he knows is being prepared by someone he trusts completely. He does not have to design the gift. He does not have to assemble it. He does not have to know what is inside the box. He only has to keep his hands open and his eyes lifted toward the one who is bringing it. That is the kind of expectation I want in you. Restful, confident, childlike without being naive. I want to say one more thing about your shoulders, because I see how much memory lives in them. Shoulders remember everything. Every time you said yes when you should have said no, your shoulders remember. Every time you absorbed someone's anger so the room would not break, your shoulders remember. Every time you held a secret that was not yours to keep, your shoulders remember. All of that memory is being released as you breathe, not theoretically, materially. Cells of your body are responding to the word heaven has spoken over your situation. Tension is dissolving. Holding is loosening. Whatever has lived in your back for years is being told, by my authority, that it is no longer welcome. There is no condemnation in my voice when I speak to you. There never has been. A voice you grew up fearing, one that said God is angry, God is keeping score, God is waiting to punish. That was never me. That was the noise of a world that does not know my heart. My heart toward you, in this exact moment, is tenderness. Pure, unmixed tenderness. A kind that does not require you to be anything other than what you are. Chains that were on your ankles, yes, I see those too, are coming off. Ones you did not even know were chains. Patterns of thinking that kept you small. Voices in your head that sounded like your own, but were never your own. Stories you told yourself about why you do not deserve more. All of it is being cut. Not slowly, not over the next decade, in this season, while you are still listening, while you are still receiving. You have lived for a long time inside a definition of yourself that was given to you by people who did not have authority to define you. A teacher said something when you were small, and your spirit absorbed it as a final word. A parent said something out of their own pain, and your soul stored it as a law about who you are. A friend left, and the leaving became a sentence in your inner voice that said, "You are easy to leave." None of those sentences came from me. None of them have weight in my kingdom. You have been living inside a story I never wrote. I am speaking the real story over you now, and the real story is the only one that stands. The real story is this: you are loved, you are seen, you are chosen. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not a burden to anyone who truly knows you. The people who treated you like a burden were carrying their own load and did not have arms free to hold you well. That was their condition, not your truth. You can release the story they wrote on you. You can write a new one. Or rather, you can let me write a new one, because the one I write is more accurate than anything you could compose about yourself, and far more accurate than anything anyone else has tried to write about you. You are not the same person who began listening to me. You are not even the same person who began this devotional. Something has shifted, a shift not loud, but real. How you will move through tomorrow will be different from how you moved through yesterday. A difference not always visible to others at first. It will be visible to you, and eventually, it will become visible to everyone. A miracle you have been waiting for already has a date set in heaven. I do not announce dates the way humans announce them. I announce them by shifts in the spirit, by sudden ease where there was friction, by doors that open on their own, by people calling you out of nowhere. When you see the small signs starting, do not dismiss them. Those are the announcements. Your miracle is the gathering of all those small announcements into one moment when you suddenly realize the season has changed. I love you. I want you to hear that without flinching, without immediately countering it in your mind with reasons why I should not. I love you in a way that does not depend on your performance, your output, your usefulness to anyone. I love you because you are mine. That is the entire sentence. There is no qualifier after it. Bread on your table will be enough. Your roof will stand. People you love who have been struggling will be touched in ways you did not engineer. Finances that have been tight will loosen. A body that has been tired will find its rhythm again. None of these things require you to strain for them. They require you to receive. And receiving is what I am training you in right now, in this exact moment. Open your hands one more time. Not to grab, to hold what is being placed in them. I am placing peace there. I am placing direction there. I am placing the certainty that you are not alone there. I am placing the knowledge that the burden is gone there. Hold all of it lightly. Receive all of it fully. Carry none of it as a weight. Everything I give from now on, you carry as a gift, not as a load. Amen. If these words found a place in you, leave one comment below, even a single word. Share this with someone whose shoulders have been tight for too long. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. A blessing that has landed on you is meant to spread. Receive it fully, then pass it on. A path is opened in front of you that did not exist last week. Not the road you mapped, not the way you assumed was final, not the detour you accepted when the original route closed. A path I built, and you are crossing the threshold right now as you hear me speak. I have been watching the journey behind you. Every mile you walked when no one was clapping, every stretch where the ground was uneven and you kept moving anyway. Every crossroads where you stood for longer than you wanted to admit, asking yourself which way would not break you again. I have seen each step. I have counted each one, and the path I am opening now was paved by the very steps you thought were going nowhere. So let this sentence sit in you for a moment. The blessing is not coming from somewhere far away. It is already underneath your feet. Put your hand flat against your chest right now. Just one hand, just for a breath. Feel the steady rhythm under your palm. That rhythm has been keeping time while you wondered if anything was moving at all. Something has been moving. Something has been arriving. You just could not see it from where you were standing. You looked at your journey and you saw delay. I looked at the same journey and I saw preparation. You looked at the turns you did not choose and you called them wrong. I called them necessary. You measured your progress by how far you wished you had come. I measured it by how much I have been carrying you along the way. Reflect for a moment on the difference between those two ways of seeing. One measures by what is missing, another measures by what is being formed. One stands at the end of the path and looks back with disappointment. Another stands at every milestone and gives thanks for the shape of the ground itself. One eye is yours. Another eye is the one I am inviting you to borrow. There is a kind of seeing that only contemplation makes possible. Not analysis, not strategy, not the frantic counting of what remains. A patient seeing, a slow seeing, a way of looking that lets your journey become a teacher instead of a tribunal. When your journey becomes a teacher, every stretch of it carries a lesson you would not have asked for and would not now trade. When your journey becomes a tribunal, every bend becomes evidence against you. You have stood in your own courtroom long enough. Step out of it now. Outside, the path is wider than the courtroom you have been pacing. Here is the truth this contemplative pause is asking you to receive. Every step you took in the dark was teaching your feet how to walk in the light that is now rising over your path. Listen, I am blessing your life and you can begin to see it. Let that sentence travel slowly. Do not rush it. Do not argue with it. Do not run ahead of it to ask when or how. Just let it walk through you the way I have walked through your year. Consider the journey that brought you here. Consider it without flinching. Those places where you thought you had lost your direction. Those seasons where the ground felt soft and uncertain. Those days when you did not know if you could take another step. You are still walking. That alone is a miracle no one has named yet. You did not survive your way by accident. You were carried through it on purpose. There is a difference between a path you walk and a path that is walking you toward something. Most of your life you have been on the second kind without knowing it. Those footsteps you thought were random were not random. Those turns you thought were detours were not detours. Those crossroads where you stood frozen were not stalling. They were the slowing down that allowed the next part of your life to be ready for you when you arrived. You used to look at a closed door and read it as rejection. Read it again now, slowly, as the contemplative one I am asking you to become. A closed door at the wrong address is a kindness. A closed door before the wrong yes is a rescue. A blocked route that turned you back is sometimes the only way I could move you toward the path I was actually building. Reflect on this without rushing. The last time you said your life was not moving, what was moving was the architecture under your feet. What was moving was the floor of your finances being reset. What was moving was the structure of your home being quietly repaired in a layer of life that you cannot see with your eyes. The visible part is the last part to change. By the time you see it, it has already been arriving for a long time. Consider how often you have judged a journey by the part of it you could see. A path on a map looks like a single line. A path in your life is layered. Underneath the surface there is the soil of your story. Underneath that there is the stone of my faithfulness. Underneath that there is the bedrock of my covenant. You have been walking on those layers without noticing them. Your next mile is not held up by your effort. Your next mile is held up by what I have placed beneath you long before you were old enough to ask. Step with that knowledge now. Step with the weight of someone who knows what they are walking on. Step lightly. Step with the freedom of one who has been carried more than they have walked. There is a particular grace in walking a path you did not choose. First time you ride a familiar route, every turn is new. Second time, that same way begins to feel like yours. Third time, you no longer brace for the bends. You begin to trust the shape of your journey. That is what is happening in you now. Those bends in your life have stopped startling you the way they once did. You have learned the shape of grace. You have learned what mind does in a season you would not have chosen. That learning is itself an inheritance. No one can take it from you. It will travel with you into every mile still ahead. I want you to notice something about your own footprints. Look at them in your imagination. Look at the long line of them that stretches back across years. Some are deep. Those are the steps you took when you were carrying more than your share. Some are uneven. Those are the steps you took when grief had taken your balance. Some are barely visible. Those are the days you were so tired you almost did not walk at all. And then look at the most recent ones. Those footprints are different. They have my handprint right beside them, not behind them anymore. Beside them. We are walking this stretch together now. Pause for one slow breath here. Do not read the next line yet. Close your eyes if you can, just for a moment, and let yourself notice that you are no longer walking alone. This path you are on is not your path alone. It is ours. Now keep going. Consider what changes when a journey belongs to two and not one. Weight is shared. Pace becomes possible. Silence between footsteps is not loneliness anymore. It is companionship. Bends do not surprise you because the one walking beside you saw them long before they arrived. Crossroads do not paralyze you because the one walking beside you will speak when speech is needed and will be silent when silence is enough. Every path has its silences. Ours has silences that are full instead of empty. You have walked enough empty silence to know the difference. Your next stretch is full. You have been so focused on what has not yet arrived that you have not noticed how much has already arrived. There is bread on your table. There is breath in your lungs. There is a roof over your head. There is a name on your heart that is not the name shame tried to give you. There is a memory of laughter that has not left you. There is a person in your life who has not given up on you, and that person is sometimes me, sometimes a friend, sometimes the part of you that keeps choosing to keep walking. All of that is blessing. All of that is the path that has been opening under your feet while you were looking at the horizon. The horizon is mine to handle. The next step is yours. and the next step is always smaller than your fear made it sound. Reflect on how often your fear has tried to make you take the whole journey at once. Fear does not understand pacing. Fear stands at the trailhead and demands you arrive at the summit before the first step. I do not work that way. I work in footsteps. I work in mornings. I work in the small unit of the present moment, which is the only unit you have actually been given. Tomorrow is not yet a path you walk. Tomorrow is a way I am still finishing. When it is ready for your feet, I will hand it to you. Until then, do not try to walk something that has not been laid down yet. You will only exhaust yourself walking an imaginary stretch and miss the real one that is opening underneath you. This is what contemplation gives back to you. Pacing, patience, a capacity to be where you are, a willingness to take what is here without grasping at what is not. Most of your fatigue is not from the miles you walked. Most of your fatigue is from the routes you tried to walk in your imagination at 3 in the morning, far ahead of where your body was. Come back to your body. Come back to your step. Your blessing lives where you actually are, not where your worry has been rehearsing. I want you to remember what your journey has actually been doing for you. Those seasons of need taught you the shape of provision so that you would recognize it when it arrived. Those seasons of loneliness taught you the value of a faithful presence so that you would honor it when it stayed. Those seasons where your work felt invisible taught you the difference between approval and purpose so that you would not trade one for the other. None of your walking has been wasted. Not 1 mile, not one detour, not one bend you wished you had not had to take. A new path is opening in front of you. I am not waiting for you to deserve it. I am not testing you to see if you are ready for it. I am offering it because the time has come to offer it. Your way is becoming wider. Your way is becoming kinder. Your way is becoming clearer. And the first sign that it is changing is how the noise in your mind is beginning to quiet down even before circumstances change. Notice that the inner journey always changes first. Your outer journey is the last to show what your inner journey has already received. Many seasons of your life have begun in this exact way. A quiet settling in your chest before the bills changed. A patient stillness in your heart before the diagnosis improved. A new clarity in your thinking before the door opened. Your inner walking and your outer walking are connected by a wire most people never trace. You can trust the inner first, outer follows. Each footstep you take inside is the footstep that prepares the ground outside to receive you. Pause to feel that connection now. Your inner walking has already taken the step. Your outer walking is catching up. The blessing is not waiting for the calendar. The blessing is waiting for you to recognize that you have already moved. If these words are landing in you, leave the word path in the comments, not for me. For your own commitment to letting this contemplation continue inside you when the screen goes dark. Leave it as a footprint of this moment. Leave it as a marker on the way you are crossing right now. Now lean into what comes next. Lean into it without bracing. I want you to consider how much of your worry has been about a future you have not yet been given to walk. You keep trying to live in tomorrow with the resources of today. Of course you feel small. Of course you feel tired. You were never meant to carry a path you are not yet walking. I will give you the strength for each milestone when each milestone arrives. Not before, not stockpiled, not in a way you can save for later. Strength comes with the step. So return to the step in front of you, that one small thing you can actually do, that one phone call, that one prayer, that one act of kindness toward yourself, that one closure you have been postponing, that one beginning you have been afraid to claim. Your way opens to those who place their foot down and let me handle the question of where it leads. Whisper this back to me right now if you can. Slowly, say it like you mean it, even if you're not sure you mean it yet. I am blessing your life, and you can begin to see it. Hear it in my voice. Let it become your voice. The mantra is not a chant. It is a turning of the head, a turning of the heart, until you are facing the direction where the blessing has been all along. Notice what happens when you say it. Notice the resistance that rises. Notice the part of you that wants to argue, the part that wants to list everything that contradicts it, the part that wants to demand evidence before agreeing. That part has kept you alive in some seasons. I am not angry with that part, but I'm inviting that part to sit down for a moment and let the rest of you remember what is also true. Both can be present at once. You can hold the difficulty and still let the blessing walk beside it. This is what contemplation does. It does not deny the path that hurt you. It widens the way so that what hurt and what heals can be held in the same hands, yours and mine, yours and mine. There is a kind of milestone you have not been counting, a kind that no one will ever congratulate you for. That day you forgave someone in private and never told them. That hour you kept your word when no one was watching. That minute you chose silence instead of the cutting word that was on your tongue. That moment you got back up after a fall no one saw. These are the milestones I am counting. These are the markers on your journey that I have been keeping for you, and the blessing I am bringing is not unrelated to them. My blessing is shaped exactly to fit who those milestones have made you. Consider this slowly. You have been thinking the blessing was a thing apart from you, a package mailed from somewhere else, an arrival from outside your life. My blessing is not separate from you. My blessing is the harvest of the path you have already walked. It carries the shape of your patience. It carries the texture of your faithfulness. It carries the depth of your endurance. A gift handed to a different person would not fit. A gift handed to who you were 5 years ago would have been too large for the house you had then. It would have fallen through. Your walking has built the hands. Those hands are now ready. That is why the blessing can arrive. Do you see how nothing has been wasted? Do you see how the walk and the gift are made of the same thread? Do you see how the one who built the way is the same one who carries the gift on it, and the same one walking with you toward the moment when the two meet inside your own life? Sit with that picture. Let it become contemplative inside you. Path, walker, gift, giver. 4 points that look like 4. One arrangement that has always been 1. Mine. You have grown more than you know. You have grown into someone who can hold a blessing without it deforming you. Earlier in your life, a gift of this size would have made you proud. Now it makes you humble. Earlier in your life, this kind of provision would have made you forget who provided it. Now it makes you turn your face toward me with thanks. Your journey has done its work. Your journey has prepared the receiver. I do not bless to perform a miracle. I bless to fulfill a promise. The miracle is the door. The promise is what is on the other side of it. Sit with that. Let it become contemplative in you. A miracle is not the destination. A miracle is the threshold I have walked you to. Beyond that threshold is the life I have always intended for you. Not a perfect life, not a life without weather, a life with me at the center of it. A life where the walking and the walker and the destination all belong to the same hand, mine. That same hand that has been holding yours longer than you have known how to hold it back. Notice how the noise has begun to recede. Notice how something inside you has begun to settle. That settling is not the absence of your problems. That settling is the presence of the one who has been with you in your problems all along. Your journey has not changed in the last 5 minutes. You have changed within it in the last 5 minutes. That is what contemplation does. It does not move the mountain. It changes the eyes of the one looking at the mountain until the mountain becomes a milestone. So let me tell you what is on the path ahead. Not a forecast. Not a promise dressed up as a prediction. A presence. I am on the path ahead. I am already standing at the next turn. I am already at the crossroads you have not reached yet, waiting for you with the answer already in my hand. You will not arrive there and find it empty. You will arrive there and find me. And the question you have been carrying will dissolve in my presence the way mist dissolves when the morning warms the field. What lies ahead is not a journey you have to discover alone. It is a way I have walked already in your direction. Every turn it takes was rehearsed in love before you ever began. Every milestone was placed in mercy long before you ever asked. Every crossroads was anticipated with patience long before you ever feared. This is a kind of path only a father builds for a child he has been thinking about since before the child existed. You have been thought of for that long. Do not let any voice tell you otherwise. Contemplate that for a quiet beat. You have been thought of since before there was a path, since before there was time enough to measure journeys, since before there was any need for walking at all. And your journey now is not your interruption, it is your invitation. Your way has always been a way home, not a way away. Walk it that way now. Walk it as one going somewhere good, not as one fleeing somewhere bad. Posture changes the pace. Pace changes the experience. Your experience becomes the testimony you will one day give to someone else still standing at the fork, wondering which way to turn. Receive the bread that is already on your table. Receive the work of your hands being multiplied even when you cannot see the multiplying yet. Receive the renewed creativity I am placing in you so that the next chapter of your life is not a repetition of the last. Receive the wisdom that lets you spend what you earn with peace instead of fear. Receive those relationships being reordered around you, ones that are leaning toward your journey instead of trying to pull you off it. Receive the strength returning to a part of your body you had stopped expecting to feel strong again. Receive the prayer your loved one has been quietly praying for you in a room you have never seen. Receive the door opening in a place you stopped knocking on years ago. Receive all of it, not by reaching, by opening. Consider how different receiving is from earning. Earning leans forward. Receiving lets the hand fall open in the lap. Earning measures itself by the visible exchange. Receiving trusts the invisible giver. You have been on the earning path long enough. Earning is not the wrong way for some seasons of life, but it is not the way that leads to this kind of blessing. This kind of blessing arrives on the receiving way, and the only requirement of receiving is the openness of the hand. You can practice that right now. Notice the hand that is not holding this device. Let it relax. Let it fall open. Let it be the posture of your whole life for the next breath. That is the posture of a traveler who has learned where the blessing actually comes from. A hand that opens receives. A hand that grips holds only what it can wring out of itself. You have wrung enough. Open the hand. Open the way. Open the day to what I have been quietly placing inside it. Hear the words one more time, but slower. The blessing is not arriving. The blessing has arrived. Seeing is the only part still on its way, and seeing is what contemplation gives you. You are not waiting for the blessing. You are waiting for your eyes to catch up. Let your eyes catch up. The path you are on is wider than the path your fear has been describing. The provision you are carrying is greater than the provision your scarcity has been counting. The love that has been walking beside you is closer than the love your loneliness has been measuring. None of these are far. All of them are here. The contemplative posture is what allows you to receive what proximity has been offering all along. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are on a path I have been building for you, in a season I have been preparing you for. With strength I have been quietly multiplying in your hands while you slept. Your blessing is your journey, and your journey is leading you home, not to a place, to me, to a kind of life where you no longer have to choose between honesty and hope, because both are walking with you now. Stay on this way, even when it bends. even when it climbs, even when it crosses a valley that asks more of you than feels fair. Stay on it, because every step you take from here is a step taken inside the blessing I have spoken. Nothing can undo what I have said over your life. Nothing in the past, nothing in the present, nothing that has not yet been written. My word stands at every crossroads as a promise that none of them are dead ends. So lift your eyes for a moment. Just lift them. Look at the path in front of you, not the one behind. Behind you is finished. Dust there is settled. That chapter is closed. In front of you is a way that did not exist last week. A path I built. A path I am walking with you. A path where bread is on the table, where strength returns to the legs, where the family you love is being held in the same hand that is holding you. Amen. If this contemplation reached the path in you, stay here. Subscribe to keep walking like this, so another tired walker finds it.